Joe Louis, the home to our Thai traditional puppetry culture, created through the commitment of people like us whom have come together and formed family like bonds through the sacrificing and hard working efforts into bringing puppet to life. Through generations, our original Joe Louis founder, Sakon Yang Kyosot, has taught the Thai Natasin dance since we were in elementary school. Every one of Joe Louis's grandchildren had to practice. It was a tradition for all of us to practice the Thai dance after school at 6 p.m. It was compulsory back then. For all of us, once the song was on, we all had to be there and practice together. Our practicing techniques. In order to do the Joe Louis puppeteer, we must know the Thai dance, but we must adapt those movements to the puppet's movements. The important aspect is knowing the puppet's nature. For example, if one puppet was created with a long neck, how would we adapt it so the performance looks more realistic? Including the movements such as the movements of flipping the puppet's hands to mimic those movements, and the most important thing is performing the same action as the puppets, portraying the same emotion as the characters of those puppets we are given. Each puppet weighs at least 3 kilos. Our puppet size have increased. It takes a lot of effort and practices is almost like carrying a child. We have practices to hold our puppets high to train so we don't lower our arms too low and distort the puppet's proportions while performing. Some of our techniques include holding up a large liter bottle filled with water for a long amount of time, almost like weightlifting, with our arms becoming sore the next day. Because our puppets are shown for a long amount of time, it's impossible to hold them up alone. We need each other to help hold the puppets up and bring them to life. Sometimes swapping positions with each other is also necessary to rest our hands. As a puppeteer at Joe Louis, we use all our 5 senses. Whether it's the flawless movements, we must be capable of performing with our eyes closed. Another thing is the participation and eye contact with the puppet's characters. It's like acting. We must have connections with one another, otherwise there is no emotion within the performance. We show real shyness, anger, and happiness. Lighting and positioning whilst performing is also crucial for the puppets. If we mess up our positions, it would mess up the flow. Instant reflection is something we require. For instance, if the audience walks in, it is important to instantly catch their attention with our puppets. We aim to practice for perfection and use that standard with the actual performance. The actual performances may come out different due to the stage and space, and we must adapt to those from our perfected practices. Because performing the puppetry includes so much emotion, our emotions that day and how we feel affect the performance entirely. But because of our performer spirits, we always try to do our best, despite the fact that it might not be the best show that day. Days and days into our performance, experiences do not make us overlook practicing over and over again for the same shows. We constantly push through our limits and give it in all at once to make sure that every show tries to highlight our beloved puppets and make them come alive to the audience.